Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Dwarves led by Sterngard facing off against the Dark Elves, who shall be helmed by Daniken Trop here on the Blazing Ramparts, one of our new corn maps, which is very, very cool. And the Dwarves are going to be bringing the fire, so very apt for the map, I would say. It is going to be double flame cannon. Now, flame cannons do have 280 range, so they can be outranged by bolt throwers, but typically you're going to be safe with these in terms of an artillery duel because Dark Elves usually won't bring a bolt thrower against Dwarves. So 2 flame cannons are going to be in action. Certainly, Dark Elves have some good diving tools between Harpies and Dark Riders, so a little bit tricky to protect, but we'll see if Sterngard is up to it. Front line is going to be Dwarf Warriors. In the back, we have Iron Drakes, Trollhammer Torpedoes, double Master Engineer, I would imagine with the Fiery Ring of Thori, which is very good against Dark Elf Infantry. It's similar to the Scabscraith ability that the White Kings do have. Has no AP, of course, but Dark Elf Infantry like Witch Elves and, Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, very low on the armor department, and Flash Bomb as well to help mitigate some of the diving. Going to be a basic Dwarf Lord, and that is it. So that is a lot to protect, We'll see if Daniken's going to be able to punch in there and get it. Otherwise, those flame cannons are going to be a big problem. We do have Witch Elves into the sunset, so Witch Elves on the outside. Now, you might be wondering, why would you bring Witch Elves against Dwarves? They lack armor piercing, whatever. But typically, their high melee attack in tandem with their just generally high weapon strength, and their bonus force infantry, they can still grind through armor. It's going to take longer, but they don't take too much damage from Dwarves because of the Fizz Res and at least the chaff-centric units like Miners and Dwarf Warriors. But yeah, they can do work against Dwarves. You'd be surprised, especially when they activate Witch's Brew, they can get pretty crunk. They get on that crunk juice. Oh, speak of the devil here, it is going to be a bolt thrower. Okay, bolt thrower with 350 range, but okay, it's only one bolt thrower. So one bolt thrower is going to take a long time to kill 2 flame cannons. If he had brought like 2 or 3, the Dwarf could have actually been in some trouble. Rest of the build here is going to be Lokir Fellheart, backed up by Bleak Swords and more Witch Elves on the outside. Dark Riders with the Canid Assassin, and what we're all here for is going to be the dreaded Lokir Fellheart. So this is the We Have Sigvald at Home. Anti-infantry, regenerating character with his Kraken's Helm. Not bad, right? He's going to be able to go fisticuffs with like basic Dwarf characters, especially like the Demon Slayer and Dragon Slayer character archetypes, which have light armor and or no armor, really. He's not going to be bad against those. And the last spell here is going to be Chill Wind, which does have 100% AP, but it's not a ton of damage, but still better than nothing. Word of Pain and Power of Darkness. All right. So the battle is on, ladies and gentlemen. Objective 3 is going to be going to the Druchii out of the gates, and Objective 2 as well. Dwarves do Vanguard up a minor unit of their own, and they are able to get that point. Dark Elves probably just going to go for a big rush, a big surround, right? Because those flame cannons, you don't want to be messing with those. Granted, their range is very short. In the back, we do get Grimdelvers being called in. So Grimdelvers are a cool backline defender unit. You can use them in the front lines, but I think they're best often used as like a counter-punching piece. Your opponent's trying to dive your expensive equipment. These things will just mow down Harpies and Dark Riders, and they have good combat stats too. 37, 36, 31. Kind of like jacked Thunders and melee, and they can fight off like cavalry as well. All right, another bolt thrower going to be called into the back, I believe. Yeah, okay, look at that. So Daniken aware of the meta a little bit here, of course, no surprises. This is the master of the Druchii, after all, and they are going to be getting the bolt throwers of doom. So here on Objective Dose, what do we got? We do see it flipping to the Dwarves, so we do a little bit of fast forwarding while the 2 players do posture, and it is going to be some bolt thrower trading. So the bolts are now shooting into the flame cannon, so Daniken is kiting back and using the bolt throwers to actually kill the flame cannon models, which has one died yet. Yes, it looks like 1 flame cannon was taken offline, and these things aren't even able to shoot yet. So here they go. We are going to be seeing the flame cannons unleashing their first salvo, and the fires of industry, are they going to burn bright here? Not so bright. They're able to get out of range. So the bolt thrower is certainly countering the flame cannons well, but flame cannons still getting a little bit of business in here. And the Dark Elves are going to advance, so that is going to give the flame cannon some opportunities to shoot. And right now it looks like they are going after the Witch Elves, but missing pretty horribly. So hey, on the bright side for the Dwarves, at least they're going to get to fire them. In the front, Canid Assassin and Lokir are going to begin punching through here. Do we have anything that can really stop these characters? Slayers? I don't know. It's going to be really hard to take down Lokir for this army composition. Witch Elves on the outsides is a bit of a problem for the Dwarves. Their best answer is probably blasting charges because Slayers will trade horribly into Witch Elves. Obviously, shooting them with archers and or guns is going to be very effective as well. Flame Cannon's doing some good work here. We do see 1 unit getting karate chopped, and very good value over here as the other Witch Elf does eat those Flame Cannon shots, and some of the Rangers here are able to punish the other one. So very, very good start here for the Sterngard as he is able to fend off the Witch Elf flank here. So these ones get broken by just a Dwarf Warrior with Flame Cannon support. And now the bows are going to be shooting into the Witch Elves with their 5 armor, so they're really not going to be loving that. Harpies on their way in, Dark Rider's going to be diving through the middle, and some of the Witch Elves did get around the backside, so this is going to be a very rough one. But look at the Grim Delvers, man, delving very grimly. That was actually the name of my dwarf in my DMD campaign. It was Grimly. But the Harpies get blasted into another dimension, but unfortunately for the Dwarves, one of their cannons is going to be taken apart immediately, and then not cannons, but flame cannons, and then we do also see the Witch Elves getting in there and doing some work. So they are able to rampage, and the Grim Delvers going to be trying to defend here, getting a nice blasting shot. So you see what I'm saying about like a backline sweeper unit? Grim Delvers are just like your housekeeping. They're just going to housekeeping, and they're going to take care of the backfield here. Witch Elves getting annihilated by some combined arms here, so the Miners with blasting charges and the Grim Delvers doing work. Nice little chill in there, didn't do bad damage. But yeah, we're going to be seeing those Witch Elves probably going into the trash can here in a moment. Now, a bit of a look at everything else. One Flame Cannon is still very much online, doing some good damage, but the Bolt Thrower is working it down. The Flame Cannon only has 2 models left, and both Bolt Throwers are going to be sitting on that. Dark Riders waiting in the wings, while the Bolt Throwers just continue to try and secure that ranged advantage for the Druchii. Grim Delvers do get charged by some cavalry, though, who are afflicted by the Power of Darkness. I like that play by Danikentrop, using the Power of Darkness on your Dark Riders, which are about to die anyways, to just extract that magic from them. Very, very lore-friendly Dark Elves, you know, just kind of a win-at-all-cost kind of situation here. But Miners with blasting charges, the Grim Delver is back online, and it does look like the Flame Cannon is down to 1 model. Iron Drake Trollhammer Torpedoes, I believe only 1 is left. The other one that was over here a little bit further east on the battlefield did get karate chopped. And the Dwarven position here is a little bit flimsy. They do have some Slayers fighting in here, but Malokir Fellheart and the Khainate Assassin probably going to be able to grind through a lot of those units, and Daniken is going to be holding on to the double cap for now. But the Dwarves are, they're a hardy folk. You think you have them on the back foot, you're like, wow, I dived their artillery, I killed this, I killed that, everything's looking great. Then suddenly they're just marching you down with all these cheap armored units. You're like, oh god, this isn't going great. But Grim Delvers, what are they going to be shooting at? Probably the advancing Witch Elves. The Bare Naked Ladies going to be charging in here and getting a nice little anti-infantry attack into the guns. Some of them do get Last Samurai, but Grim Delvers in their current health with 60 models can probably fight off these 29 Witch Elves. But with the light cavalry coming in, the Dark Riders could get a little bit messy for them for sure. Dwarves going to be playing the outside here. So this is something that, I don't know, we'll see if it pays off. Personally, I feel like if you're a Dwarf player, you should consolidate to where your strengths are in your main formations. Kind of trying to play split pushing with Dwarves is tough because their units individually are very slow and can be picked off. But there is going to be a Bugman's Ranger heading in here, which of course does have stock, so his opponent won't see it coming. So maybe that is actually a decent play. Here, the middle objective is actually flipping to the Dowie, so despite them not really having tools to kill Loke here, they're just kind of tar-pitting him with chaff units. And the Dwarves are resurgent over on Objective 1. The Dwarf Warriors, as well as the Miners with blasting charges, going to be fighting it out right here. On the backside, Witch Elves coming in. Bolt Throwers both still pretty healthy, and not too many great targets. Granted, you could just go spray fire mode and probably shoot at, the Trollhammer Torpedoes or something in single target mode, or go spray fire mode and shoot the Bugman's Rangers, right? On the outside here, a couple Ravens Heralds being called in, so kind of a cool choice. Granted, the Dwarves do have a lot of bows on the field, so it's going to be tricky. But I would imagine the Bugman's Rangers are going to work over towards Objective 1. Then the Dark Elves will probably call in some Dark Riders and or maybe some Bleak Swords, just like Chaff, or Witch Elves even, to try and close the distance. But Witch Elves a little bit risky against bows. Right here, another Chillwind activated by the Dark Elves. Lokir Fellheart trying to grind this game back. Sternguard has pulled the value back, though. The Dwarves, despite losing their Flame Cannons to the Bolt Throwers, are really, really pushing the tempo here. Iron Drake Trollhammer Torpedoes got to be trying to get in range, obviously, of the Ravens Heralds. That's what you want to be taking out here. These Ravens Heralds are quite menacing. They have really good AP values. Pretty okay at rotating around like a big Itza-style battlefield where it's very wide and just finding and isolating targets. They should be able to pay for themselves, but yeah, the Trollhammer Torpedoes will for sure knock them down. You can see Trollhammer shots are coming in. Some of the models are dropping out of the sky, which is going to effectively reduce their DPS by quite a bit. But we'll see if it matters. Objective 1 belongs to the Dwarves, and the Bolt Throwers are in spray fire mode now. What are they targeting at the moment? They are going after the Rangers. So far, value on Bolt Thrower number 1 is 1,000, and Bolt Thrower number 2 here is going to be 738. So not bad. 2 Bolt Throwers have paid for themselves, and honestly, we're big players in this game. If the Dark Elves do manage to win it, they can attribute a lot of that to the Bolt Throwers. All right, so on this side, Lokir Fellheart still grinding, and he's he does call himself the dreaded duelist after all. So with his big old, what's his melee attack right now? Only 36, wow, because he's very tired, I guess. But he does have the bonus for his infantry of plus 30, which is pretty insane. So despite him having lower melee attack because of his fatigue, he's going to be able to bully that Master Engineer. And that's a really, really good pick for Lokir. And probably can beat this Dwarf Lord too. The Dwarf Lord has a similar situation where he kind of lacks armor piercing. Granted, as characters get tired, their armor becomes less effective. But Lokir is sitting at 99 armor still despite this debuff right here. So, all right, bows shooting in, and it does look like on the outside. Ooh, I love this from Daniken, probably my favorite Dark Elf unit. it is going to be some shades with dual weapons. So they're going to be creeping in, and now the bows, or the crossbows, with the stock here are going to be shooting. So probably what you'd want to do is maybe just shoot a volley and then charge them. Although the dwarves are having to reform ranks and they're retreating. So that means that the shades are probably going to be able to win that duel simply because they'll get like 3 volleys off. So it looks like Daniken actually saved up for 2 shades back here and decides to send those bad boys in. That is such a cool play. I really like that. Ring of Thori activated. It wasn't the best cast. Could have been a little bit further down the side there, but not terrible either. And Bugman's Rangers do have the bronze shield, so they can kind of do pretty well in these type of trades. But with 2 shades shooting you ain't going to have a good time. Raven's Herald still shooting into the infantry, and as far as the points go, it is going to be favoring Sternguard here in this game, but I do see a bit of a pattern here over on the east side of the battlefield where maybe the Dark Elves are going to be able to kind of weasel some value out and get back in this game, because the Dwarf Lord is getting bullied, right? So we see the Dwarf Lord getting karate chopped by Lokir Felhart, which I actually really like to foot Lokir in this matchup, right? Because he would lose to like Ungrim or Thorgrim or any like the big heavy hitters, but in terms of like the very cheap chaff-centric Dwarf Lords, the Demon Slayer equivalents and, the Lord here, he's going to be able to do pretty well. Granted, in the back, guys, it is Grim Delvin time. Granted, very lucky for the Dark Elves, they have that river there, so it's partially line of sight blocked. If the Grim Delvers waddled a little bit further up, they could probably just... Oh my god, it's happening. Okay, guys, we got to save for the Last Samurai. So Lokir is quite literally going to get Last Samurai. So let's give us a cinematic shot. Lokir is getting the shotgun blast to the face. And it looks like he was able to endure that. A couple shots coming in. He's at 1,000 HP. I think the elevation on the hill mitigated some of that firepower, but man, that was really, really close. Shades are putting in work, though. Dark Riders overwhelming some of the Dwarven forces. And you see what I'm saying about like playing the sides against more mobile factions? Like these units are just going to go into the grinder, basically. Although sometimes Dwarves can afford to do the face-to-foot style. Triple Shades coming up. Man, this game is just getting so much cooler and cooler. Like we opened with flame cannons and bolt throwers, and then we're getting a Shade transition with Lokir in the late game. I mean, it doesn't get much cooler. Daniken might be able to find their way back, but they're going to have to hurry the hell up, because it's going to be a triple cap situation before you know it. So here, these miners do get taken to Pound Town. Over here, Lokir Felhart is very, very low with his Candidate Assassin. Currently, they're running, or not they're running, but the Grim Delvers are running from them to try and create distance so that the other units can shoot Lokir, but he's hiding amongst the ranks of the Dwarves, which is making it very, very hard. Yeah, the Shades might be able to do something here because they are dual weapon Shades, which means they do have anti-infantry bonus. I think it's only +8, but not terrible. So they're going to be able to probably fight like Dwarven chaff units off the objectives. And of course, they're a full capture weight unit. They have 5 capture weight, being an infantry unit. So not going to be bad at all. On the other side, we do see the Shades with dual weapons coming in. So is it going to be throwing some shade here in the late game to try and push the Dwarves off? Dwarves calling in Iron Drake, Trollhammer torpedoes. They will have superior range against all of the Dark Elf shooting, but Dwarves really just need to find a way to hold the points a little bit longer to the point where they can get a Helm's Deep, right? And I don't know, he's on his way to doing that for sure. I think Daniken probably is going to have to get a triple cap here. A couple Bugman's Rangers on the other side coming back and getting some nice shots against the 30 armor of the Shades, which have very, very poor missile mitigation. Dark Elves going to be advancing up with Bleak Sword, so now this is their final march, the last march of the Ents here. Going to be trying to get up on the points to get those... get that triple cap, because you're going to need it. The Dwarves are going to be approaching a triple cap situation here very, very soon, in the next like minute or 2. All right, Shades with the bows with the fur, shooting into the Slayers here. Slayers do have bronze shields, but their backs are turned, so they're eating the full volley right there, which feels bad. Trollhammer torpedoes advancing up. Grim Delvers also trying to get a little bit of distance. Bugman's Rangers over here do get folded up by these Shades with the dual weapons. And Slayers going to be charging across, going after these Shades. Definitely getting their oaths fulfilled. Probably not how they envisioned it, but you know what? They're not going to be picky. This is exactly what they want. They are unbreakable too, but the Shades going to be charging in. Oh, that's a cool looking shot, isn't it? Total War looks so freaking awesome. But the Shades do have the bonus versus infantry, and they're pretty well designed to fight Slayers in melee combat, to be honest with you. All right, Grim Delvers are delving grimly, and they are punishing these Shades here. These Shades taking quite a bit of damage. Trollhammer torpedoes move again. Dark Elves with a resurgent push here, looking for that triple cap, and now it is a triple cap. The Dwarves are going to need to, it has been for a little bit, but he's going to need to get all 3 objectives from the Dwarves, which is not going to be easy. If the Dwarves just kind of spam out waves and waves of Dwarf Warriors and, miners, although if they can get them quickly, the Dwarves might not be able to get them back. Dwarves probably going to make a Helm's Deep over on objective 2. It's always better to make a Helm's Deep on a side objective so you don't get surrounded, but obviously you work with what you got, right? So nice shots from the Dowie here as the Iron Drakes blast away. Fiery Ring of Thori activated. Dwarf Warriors and Miners with blasting charges are on their way over. More Shades on the side, going to be providing some great armor piercing. As the value really looking actually kind of even right now. Wow, I assume the Dark Elves will be a little bit further ahead. Lokir Felhart, oh, I looked away for a second. He must have gotten killed. Okay, so Lokir, I think, got killed by the Iron Drake Trollhammer torpedoes, I would imagine. Let's look at their value. About 471, so it could have been them. But we are approaching 1,400 points here, and Daniken fighting with Shades in melee against chaff units, which is still, they'll win it, but it's not ideal because the dwarves take so long to kill. Even like a baseline dwarf unit, like its base leadership is like 70 on like their worst infantry, and it has 80 armor as well, which makes it very, very tough to uproot. Dwarves going to be waddling up to the points, ladies and gentlemen, as we do approach the 1,400 point mark. 1,360 for the dwarves. So they're getting there. More Bleak Swords going to be rolling from the high ground to reinforce where they can. Outside objective is taken by the Druchii, but are they going to be able to hold it? That is the question. We do get the Shades in there and the Bleak Swords. I think they'll win. Shades dual weapons, 42 melee attack with the bonus versus infantry. Should be good, especially since they have the full surrounder here, the Bleak Swords on the back, and also Dark Riders coming in to help. That dwarf position probably will be folded. It's going to take a minute, but the big thing is just maintaining the capture weight. So can the dwarves hold on to the middle is the question. Daniken's coming in with Bleak Swords and Bleak Swords on the other side here as well. As the Shades with dual weapons going to be grinding it out. Bleak Swords waddling here, but the dwarves do have some durable capture weight in the form of the Master Engineer, which will be providing 3. But I don't know. Yeah, this is going to be a tight one. I think Dark Elves might be able to get there. We'll see, although, I didn't see this. That's tough, but 2 Bleak Swords arriving is going to help. Currently, the dwarves are going to be rocking 5, 10, 13 capture weight here, plus maybe 1, so 14 capture weight. Dark Elves are going to have 5, 10, and probably 12. So dwarves still will have the capture weight advantage even when those reinforcements arrive. And if this gets flipped to dwarves, I think that's going to be GG. I don't think Daniken's going to have the time. What a cool nail-biter of a game. Over here, it looks fine for the forces of the Dark Elves, but maybe not for long. These blasting charges, even in their tattered state, going to be able to really do a shit ton of damage against these guys. And yeah, man, what a good match. I mean, if it goes a little bit longer, dwarves are pulling value back, though. I mean, they're such a grindy faction. Like, I can't tell you, like, in the beginning, it probably looked like the Dark Elves had some advantages. Although the Flame Cannons in the beginning did annihilate the Witch Elves. Like, the 2 Witch Elves on those flanks over there, that's 1,500 gold that did, like, nothing and just got karate chopped instantly. So that's going to be GG for sure. This objective being secured. And the Karazhan Corps is going to be enduring against one of their nemesis. They do have a lot of nemesis, of course, a lot of enemies, but that is a big one. The Dark Elves certainly got quite a history with the Dwarves. All right, GG, well played. The Spine of Sotek getting it done. Flame Cannon, pretty cool. Let's see, 471, looking at 340 here. Yeah, they did what they could. I mean, they're really effective if they don't get bolt thrown, obviously, against Dark Elves. And we do see the Trollhammer Torpedoes hanging in there, Dwarven Engineers with okay value. Lokir did get last Samurai by something. But yeah, just the tenacity, 2,800 on the frickin' Grimdelvers is super good. And the Blasting Charge is really disruptive in the late game. 1,300, 700 here, 22. It says probably the first. This was probably the first Witch Elf over on the flank there, and 800 here. A couple of those Witch Elves were summoned twice though, so probably didn't pay for themselves. My favorite part of the game probably was the Shades with dual weapons coming in. I can't help but wonder if the Shades with great weapons would be better than these, because just the raw AP versus the bonus versus infantry. I don't know. Daniken probably knows better than me, so I guess I'll just trust this. The Ravens Heralds did feel like a weak point. When I saw them, I kind of felt like that was a bit of a momentum loss on them, but yeah, still kind of neat. GG, well played, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed that game. Really, really fun one, and we will see you on the other side.